So I'm here with Bryan, getting his Mare sneakers made with upcycled leather from the auto industry. They're looking pretty good. And we were just talking, and Bryan, you were telling me a little bit about some of the work that you all do at Zero Waste, or you do at Recycle in Arbor. And we were starting to talk about zero waste, and you were just sharing some gems. So I was hoping to have you just tell us a bit more about what you think it's going to take us to move towards more of a zero waste and circular economy.
Yeah, so the traditional recycling model is the more you recycle, the better. And so we have a different model. We're a zero waste organization, Recycle in Arbor is. So what we believe in is creating systems that actually bridge to a more sustainable future instead of just the same model of extract, consume, recycle, and then back into the economy. It's actually interrupting that chain into a more circular, and you mentioned circular economy or a circular in nature versus zero waste, and there's a little bit different philosophy in circularity versus zero waste. We're a zero waste organization, but I think the real big difference is that a zero waste model actually honors the material through its entire life cycle. So like the way you treat your people, where you get your material from, how you handle it once it's done, all of those things go into play into, because what we are is called an intermediate processor. So we take it from the curb, pick it up from the curb, and then we process it into these big giant 1-ton cubes, and then we sell it to people who actually remanufacture it. So who we use to remanufacture it determines part of that circularity also. So most recyclers say, hey man, I'll send it wherever I get my most money for it. What we are is we like to keep it local. All of our markets are within 200 miles. All of our markets are sustainable in nature. We use tree-free mills, so they don't use any virgin timber. They only use recycled timber, or paper. So those types of things play into it. But it's not just the environmental portion, it's the social portion. So how do they treat their people? What does their wastewater treatment plant look like? So we look at take a broader view in our due diligence. So that's part of zero waste too, is like how the material gets treated when it's on the street, when it gets taken to our facility, and then what happens to it at the end. So that's the part we can really control. But all the way we think about what programs we start, it isn't just to make money or to drive more trucks around. It's like, how do we build that bridge to a more sustainable future? So like a real quick example, sorry man if I'm going on too long.
This is great, this is
great.
great.
So it's like when we look at starting collection programs for recyclables, it's not just how do you pick up those recyclables, but what we should be using is reusables. Instead of single-use material, we should be using reusables, like reusable stainless steel cups and things like that. So can we use that existing collection infrastructure for reusables? So it gets picked up, gets taken to our facility, sorted out with robots, and then we wash it, put it back on the shelf again, gets reused over and over again. So how do we use the existing infrastructure that we have to get us to a more sustainable future? That's what we're really about. And I would just be honored if you could next time you come over to Ann Arbor, you'd give me a holler, man. I'd love to show you around.
That sounds like a plan. And what's one thing that you would recommend folks do that they could personally take on to support working towards a more circular, zero waste economy?
So in Detroit, you're getting ready to get a new processor for your recyclables. The waste management is going to process your recyclables. Engaging them in the conversation that I just had with you. What are you doing? Where's our material going? What is it getting made into? Asking those questions. Because when you put it on the curb and you set it at the curb, it's not gone away. There's still a whole nother process. So ask those questions of your decision makers. Where's our stuff going? What's it getting made into? Is it actually getting recycled? That's the biggest thing you could do, because the biggest thing that people can do on their day-to-day, they can put solar panels on they can have electric cars, they can do a lot of really cool things, but the most affordable, most impactful thing they can do is authentically recycle every time they can. So recycle what you can.
Thank you, Bryan. All right.